I'm gonna turn off my camera.
Brutal Caesar.
What's good?
How are you, my friend? Welcome to Hip Hop Lifers.
Thank you. It's been
good to have a face to put with the name and all the hours of talking.
Hours and hours. Too many hours.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So just wanted to bring you on here, talk a little bit, have a little conversation.
Yeah.
My first question, I usually start off the same way. It's the what, where, and when got you into hip hop.
Don't know. It was a long time ago. I think it was probably about 12, something like that. And you kind of, when you're in high school, you start off with like Tupac and Biggie and all this stuff. And then it kind of started from there, and then kind of ended up with like Illmatic and stuff like that, and then Wu-Tang Clan. I went from there then. I think in terms of making music, it started probably with Wu-Tang kind of stuff and trying to work on that influence. But yeah, it's probably from like high school and kind of just evolved from there really and changed as things gone on.
Right. Who's your biggest musical influence right now?
I think right now there's a few. I think watching the Kanye West documentary, like the College Dropout album, and then you've got like Apollo Brown, Ninth Wonder, stuff like that in terms of musical influences and kind of how they work things and chop things and stuff like that. I'd probably say those at the moment, but then other days I'll be listening to something completely different, and kind of that'll come in and just take influence for a couple of weeks of kind of beats, stuff like that, really. But yeah, I'd probably say Ninth Wonder, maybe a bit of Apollo Brown and stuff like that. That's probably what I'm listening to most at the moment, producer-wise. Then obviously got like OC, Sky Zoo, Raz, stuff like that as well. So all kind of fits in.
Yeah, it all kind of just comes together and builds a sound. Yeah,
becomes one.
Right, exactly. Yeah, really, it kind of does. It's like there's so much coming at us right now in such a short period of time. It's kind of hard to ingest it all.
Yeah,
I really feel that. So my list is very long of the stuff that I haven't listened to yet, and like it just keeps adding and adding and adding. But Brutal Caesar, where'd the name come from?
So we used to produce under a different name, and then we had some rappers. Oh yeah, I want to use some of your tracks, and then found out he was selling them. So I took a little bit of time out, and I was speaking to the soloist for a bit, and I was kind of like, I was going to go with David Bruton as kind of like the alias, and it just didn't seem to fit. We were just speaking, and he was just kind of on one of his days, and just thought Simpson stuff, and we talked about like history and stuff like that, because for whatever reason that came up to it. And then Simpson stuff, he's like, your sound sounds brutal. And then we just talked about like history and stuff like that, and then Caesar came into it, and it just kind of came from there. Really, it's really weird. So it's never kind of an initial name to use. It just kind of came out of a random conversation that I can't even recall half of it.
It's a great name.
And
it's a great name. Great name. It's like perfect for hip hop. Perfect.
It's stuck, and it's gone from there. So
right. What was your original name?
It would have been David Bruton, just as an alias. It's just over my real name. But so that probably would have been the alias. But yeah, it's just kind of taking my first name, and then I think I was going through a load of like library sounds as like Britain music and stuff like that. And it kind of went from there, but I was really poor. Yeah. It was stuck as like the Facebook name, so that'll do.
It works. It works well.
Yeah.
So let's see. How old were you when you made your first beat?
Oh, shit.
Like real beat.
Okay. So I remember the first one I ever made, and it was. I even remember the sample, and it was shit. I'd probably say started pushing about 10 years ago, so I'd be about 22, 23. I think it's around then. It's kind of like some stuff I did with Vendetta Kings, and the one I pushed in the group earlier with like G King and Prodigal Son and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think that there was when I started to kind of push it a bit more and try and put things out a bit more. But yeah, I was probably about 16 when I made my first, and it's horrible. I heard it like a few years back, and it was just horrendous to listen to.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You should flip it.
About 10 years properly. But that was under the previous name, and then I think Brussels has been what 5-6 years, maybe. I think something like that. I can't remember. It's flown by,
Right.
but yeah, it's about
Yeah,
5-6
time
years.
flies. I think that Soloist album said 2017, right?
Sounds about right. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
it was started
so.
2016, maybe, or the plans, and then it was kind of released 2017, and then it's been what, about a quick kind of few projects, and then a 2-year break,
Right?
change of job and stuff like that. So I took a bit of a priority, and then this has taken 2.5 years to put together as well. So yeah,
it's a masterpiece by a lot of people's standards. A lot of people are digging it. A lot of people.
I was speaking to, I can't remember who I was speaking to. I think it was it Leon Yu, that's from the group.
Yeah.
And we were just speaking earlier, and he's saying about kind of, if you listen to the first Soloist projects now, you can hear the difference in it and the sounds and stuff.
You can. I listened to it today.
I don't like listening to the old stuff anymore. I think I'm so used to listening to the new stuff. I've listened to like the old Sea Monster, was it? Soloist Sea Monster project, and it just doesn't sound great. It's kind of
I was listening today.
So yeah, like it's still decent, but I think listening to that to 5 years now, 5 years now, it's just kind of, it just sounds to me a lot different, and probably improvement wise.
It progressed. It progressed definitely musically, definitely.
So, it sounds weird listening to like a project from 5 years ago. It doesn't
No.
sound right.
I know you got some projects in the works. Is there anything you want to talk about, or you can talk about?
So Ghost of the Machine is one. I asked him when we initially discussed, I was like, "Are you happy for me to mention this?"
Yeah. Ghost's a good dude.
Ghost's a great dude. I've spoken to him a couple of times. Let me just double check what else I've got, because I've got a little folder of projects and stuff like that. So there's Ghost. I've sent you some other stuff as well. Like, I'm not going to name names, but because I want to keep that one quite quiet. But also, I've sent you a few stuff from the one. I sent you a few references yesterday. Then there's potentially Marvelous as well. And then a few other people like Freddie Black, who's done a lot with Tone Spliff as well. Yeah. So we're doing some stuff there to kind of build on that. But yeah, there's a couple. I think there's at least 3 or 4. Yeah, Ghost.
Busy man.
To. I think we've got like 11 or 12 beats in the folder. So
yeah, Ghost is gonna kill it.
Yeah, I think it's again that kind of Knife Wonder sound, but from what I've heard of his is his sound. And then also the ones I've sent you references for. Really looking forward to getting that done and finalised and put out. So that'll be from the references. I think that'll be kind of following on from Seas Calpurnia, going from there, hopefully. So
now, your sound is kind of like eerie to me. Like it could kind of fit into some horror situations here and there, but it also has that melt your face boom bap to it. Like, what's going on in your head when you're making a beat?
I think it all depends on what mood I'm in on the day. So I think even in terms of sampling, so one day I could listen to a sample and be like, yeah, that's amazing, not chop it, and then go back to it 2 days later and be like, really, why have I got this? It's like horrific. It will all depend on the day. So it depends depends on my mood on the day, really, and kind of what I've been listening to. So if I listen to like some Apollo Brown or Knife Wonder quite a bit, a few days leading up to it, that'll kind of heavily influence my sample choice. Obviously, the College Dropout, that'll kind of completely change the sample I'll look at, and stuff like that. So I think it depends, and whatever hits me. So there's not any one particular day I'll think, yes, I'm going to use this kind of sound. I've tried that before and it just kind of doesn't work because you focus completely on one sound, it just doesn't come, and then you get frustrated.
It's not natural.
Just give up. and just
That's
stop.
not natural to you.
But generally, nothing is in my mind. I'm quite a vacant-minded person. So I think it's genuinely kind of, if I hear something, I'm like, that's what I want to use, and that's what I want to go with. And then just kind of trawl through and just trying to find. I always seem to have a vocal sample in somewhere. Every beat's got to have a vocal sample in. So yeah, hopefully there's a good vocal in there. Chop a bit of barrow, and do that. But yeah, I think it's just kind of what hits me on the day. I don't go into it thinking I want to use. I would just check names out there like dramatics or stylistics or anything like that. Not that I sample that regularly, because that's been overdone. But yeah, I think it'll just be, I'll listen to, and there'll be days I think, right, I want to focus on like a gospel kind of sample, and I'll hopefully get something from that. But yeah, it's generally kind of whatever hits me on the day, really. I don't want to go into it kind of too focused on a particular sound I want to do, because otherwise I just don't find it very productive.
Right.
I kind of fry my own mind.
Right. Word.
Yeah. It's a weird way of working.
Who's your dream collab? One album,
say, and this might
one person.
Be controversial, but I'd probably say it'd be Ghostface Killer.
Okay. It's not controversial.
No, I think people are like, well, he's not my favorite Wu-Tang member, or this or that. He's not the best one. But I think for me, I think listening to Supreme Clientele was like, that album to me is just like, I think you've got Wu Banger, you've got one. I'm trying to think of the other one. There's a few on there, and it's just like, yeah, that was the sound I used to love making. I think I need to try and get back into that, and just do that. So yeah, I think Ghostface Killer be the one at the minute, probably out of all of them.
Are you anticipating Supreme Clientele too?
I think, well, it'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, everyone kind of has their expectations too high.
Yeah, no, I think sometimes people do it and they'll kind of follow the trend. It just goes all wrong. If it sticks to that kind of sound, then that would be great. But
right. But again, with the way music comes out nowadays, everyone's attention span is 15 minutes, and then they move on to the next thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that?
Right.
Yeah. Again, is
Dexter Price just said, "Mighty Healthy" on Supreme Clientele is a super banger.
Absolutely. So it's just fun, isn't it? I think there's not one you could say isn't, but I think for me, one was the track that kind of, if I had to listen to one repeat, it'd probably be that one album. So that's like my top track.
How about producer? If you could collab with,
I think in terms of learning wise, everyone will generally go Primo, and like, yeah, he's like obviously number one for everything.
Yeah, he's the greatest to ever do it. So
I think for me and my side, it'd probably be like, so I just watched my dogs, he's been weird. It'd probably be like Ninth Wonder, I think, for like the little brother stuff growing up and everything else. I think I relate more to that than Premier. What's the matter? So my dog's just been annoyed.
No worries. We're all dog people around here.
He just has to pick this time to want to piss.
Well, of course. No, but Dexter Price, Pete Rock over Primo by a hair.
Yeah,
it is close. It depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, he used a lot of jazzy kind of samples, and I tried it, and it's just not for me. So I think that's why I Primo in that sense, and Ninth Wonder. Can you give me 2 seconds just to the start?
Yeah, go ahead. Do you think?
Can I just stop the camera and come back? Is that
Just go ahead. What do you think? And no, it's not Pete Rock over Primo. Primo all day. Sorry, you guys, but he's coming right back in 1 minute. Anyway, we got our banner in. That's pretty dope. It was way too big for me to put up behind me. So y'all be seeing it on May 13th, I think, or June 4th, which one ever comes first. It's pretty damn big. So you're getting the pink room, and it is what it is. What else do we got coming up? Oh, here he is. He's back.
Sorry, it was a false alarm.
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. But let's see.
We'll sniff some air.
Now, regionally, you're in the UK, but where are you exactly?
So I am in like the southwest of the UK. It's just like a county. It's like in the 1980s. It's quite far. Well, but it's Cornwall essentially. But it's very. So we moved down here about 4 years ago. And it's quite like very rural and country and all that stuff. So I moved down here about 4 years ago, but originally from Cardiff in Wales. So yeah. So
who was your biggest musical influence from the UK?
If I'm honest, I don't really listen to much from the UK. I think to me, everyone that's not from London wants to sound like they're from London, and it's just kind of this. Yeah, this might get some shit, but I just generally don't listen to a lot of UK music, especially like hip hop and stuff. I think I know you've got like Skinny Man and Jest and all that, which everyone will resonate with, and if they listen to UK hip hop, they'll say that. Yeah, I think for me, generally, I would listen to American hip hop and not UK hip hop.
Right.
So I can't say that I really have any UK kind of influences. Because I think my sound is more American sounding than UK sounding, kind of all that kind of grimy and UK.
Yeah, it's that East Coast grimy boom bap, like horrorcore. Yeah, I got you. So I gravitate towards that sound. That's kind of what
absolutely. I think
my favorite sound is.
Yeah, I think UK wise, there's nothing there that I kind of listen to. It's like I want to make something like that, or that's the sound I really want to kind of replicate, but really want to kind of look into, and so it just doesn't really hit me. It's kind of gone into like went to grime and stuff like that, and it just wasn't for me whatsoever.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm stuck back in the 90s with my style of music.
That's all right. It's all right. You're making good music, so
no journalist stuff here.
A lot of people enjoy it. So, all right.
Thank you.
I know it's late where you are. I'm gonna get to wrapping this up in a minute. Do you want to plug anything? You want to put anything out there?
I think
throw it all out now.
I think I've plugged this project far too much, obviously. What's now? 26th. So yeah, so it's been 11 days since the Seas Calpurnia has come out. Obviously, if people haven't listened to it, go and listen to it, see what we think. I'm always happy for people to kind of let me know what they think. If you like it, go and buy it as well. Not to plug it like without a soul. But yeah, and obviously like I was talking to you about kind of anyone hip hop lifers and stuff like that. If they're looking for beats and stuff, anyone in the group that as long as it's for themselves and not for other people outside the group, then you can do it for like half price and stuff like that. Just because like the group's been so supportive and helpful and stuff like that. But yeah, I think this year then we've got another 2, 3, 4 projects. So just keep a lookout for them. And yeah,
I'm excited for a couple of them.
I still haven't got your thoughts on those references yet. So I have to ask you what your thoughts are on those.
Yeah, no, I was a little busy yesterday, but I'll give them another listen tonight because I'm free tonight. But
but no, I'll see what you think of them. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Obviously, Ghost as well. Need to catch up with him and get an idea of that as well. And then I think possibly another Cypher track with Weapon ESP, Ghost, and Ren Thomas as well.
Word.
That'll be probably just dropped as a single, maybe. And there's another single, but I won't say anything on that. Yeah, but it's with someone from the project,
right?
Just to eliminate that one. So.
Yeah, don't be telling too much. You got to make a whole project with Emily too. You got to reach out to her.
I have spoken to, so I think that'll probably be if anything next year.
Good.
Just as a like availability and commitments and stuff, that'll be next year. So if anything, but yeah, that would be cool because I think that opening track is a solid track. I think for me it is one of my favorites, and I think when people heard it before it came out, some were a bit mixed thoughts on it, but it's actually quite nice to hear that everyone's listened to it now like, oh, that's actually one of my favorite tracks. So I've obviously passed that feedback on. I think it's it's a good track to start on, and sets kind of a variety of different styles of tracking. So
I know a lot of people heard it and were like, "Who the hell is that girl?"
completely under the radar, right?
Right, like, oh my god, like, who is
Don't
she?
even know how I found him.
Right. But
Yeah.
anyway, my man, I'm gonna let you get to bed because it's
That's
past
all good.
midnight.
It's all good.
So
Yeah,
I thank you very much.
it's all good. Thank you for having me.
We'll have you again shortly.
Yes.
We're gonna be working on some couple of things here.
Yeah. Not saying anything.
I'm not saying shit.
I'll let you discuss that whenever you need to.
That's up to Anthony. He can say it all.
Yeah.
But all right, my brother. You have a good night.
Cheers. You too. Be safe, and I will speak to you in the morning here, or afternoon here, morning your time.
Yes, sir.
All
Have
right,
a good night.
Stuff.
Thank you, man.
All right. Nice one. Peace.